How is it going? So I got JP here with me, and I'm about a week out from having my nose fixed. I have my septum repaired, so I can't really go fishing just yet, but I wanted to do something fun with him. So we're going to shoot a video about how to stain an antler spike. So this is a process where you use potassium permanganate, you mix it with some water, and then you lightly apply it to an antler, and it gives it a rich brown color. You kind of leave the tines white, which looks cool, but it gives it a little bit more character than just a plain old white antler. So you can see this is a big one that my wife found. She did not find this at our out in the woods or anything. She found it in our apartment complex, which is kind of crazy, where we used to live back in the day. So somebody must have gotten mad at somebody and thrown this in the trash, because I don't know who would get rid of an awesome six-point elk antler like this. But I've dyed this one with the same process, and you can see, you know, you leave the tines white, just put a light coating on, and it gives it some nice character. So I think it looks way cooler than if it's just a big white antler. Of course, it's a personal preference, so that's just my opinion. You got to be really careful with potassium permanganate. What can it do if it gets on your skin?
It can stain really bad.
Yeah, it stains really bad, turns your skin brown, so we're just going to be really careful with this. So we've taken some precautions. We got a plastic sheet down. I've got gloves I'm going to wear as I mix this stuff. JP's got the paper towels at the ready for me, just in case I need them. And the weird thing is, when you mix this with water, it's really purplish red. And even when you first apply it to the antlers, you're like, oh, what have I done? And it's a little bit scary, but it ends up drying brown, and it's a lasting finish, so it doesn't really fade that much over time. I think this one's faded maybe just a little bit, but I did that probably more than 7 years ago, so who knows. But anyhow, it's a cool process to get to watch, so I figure I'll just show you what's going on. So let's start off by, we're going to put a little bit of this stuff. Actually, before I do that, let me put my gloves on. We're going to put these gloves on, and we're going to put a little bit of this potassium permanganate in this water. Now, I don't know the exact ratio. You know, I think it's about a cup of water for a teaspoon, so I'm just using a little bit, because obviously this is just a spike antler, it's not that big. So we're gonna mix that in. I'll try to do this so you can see it, but it's just gonna be, yeah, there you go. There's that purple color. And we don't need to mix it too dark, because we can always give it a second coat. That's the nice thing. So you can put one coat on, and then apply multiple coats if you think it's still too light or not. I'm just going to use a sponge. If you have one of those spongy paint brushes that does a good job, I think you can use a regular paintbrush too, just something that can spread it. If you're doing this on an actual elk skull, you will want to make sure that you tape, so that none of this potassium permanganate can get on the skull, because it'll just stain your skull brown, and then you'll be really upset, because nobody wants a brown skull. They want a white skull with brown antlers. So I'm just going to kind of swirl this around a little bit. I didn't fill it up too much for this reason, so I can do this. And yeah, you can see, I'm trying to make sure you can see that really good, but that is a really dark purple. Looks like grape Kool-Aid, doesn't it? Yeah, so we'll just dip a little bit of this in here. And we're just going to go real smooth and start applying it to this antler. Now that might be a little bit light, because I'm not even getting the any color on there. So we'll go, oh, there we go. So now we're starting to see it show up as purple on the camera. So I'm trying to do this so you can see it too. But yeah, we kept it light. We can always give it more coats if we need to. So see, I already spilled, so that's good that we have our protective cloth down. You also want to be careful about drips. So if drips form, they'll just concentrate the color in that spot where the drip is hanging. So it might be good to be ready with the paper towels to catch any drips. So you can already start to see, I don't know if you can tell, but this is starting to get a little bit darker brown. I'm going to pick this up so I don't have a big blob of this solution on the cloth. So there's a drip again by me. And we're just gonna go, we're gonna leave that tine a little bit bare. We can always scooch up there and add some to it. It's just getting a little bit darker. We'll put some down here. Down at the base. The base is usually the darkest part. It even had some color still on it. We're gonna go a little bit darker. So yeah, and I could have added more and probably gotten this to stain it a little bit darker, but there's really no need to. We could just do multiple coats and just keep hitting it. There's that. What do you think so far, bud?
Oh my god, that's really good, but it still has to get a little lighter if it looks gonna look like that one.
Yeah. Yep. And that one, you know, it all depends on how porous the antlers are too, you know. They might absorb it more if they're more porous. And that one I may have had an even darker solution. I probably made a bigger batch of this and just had it pretty concentrated to begin with. So maybe I will do that because I don't want to be putting 20 coats on this thing, you know. Yeah, so can you tear me off a paper towel, bud?
Oh, sure. Kind of ripped a little.
It's okay. Here you go. And then we'll clean up some of this stuff so that we don't have wet solution pooling on this. And then if we set the antler in the wet spot, we're going to get even more. So let me add just a little more. A little bit more of this to the solution. See if we can get it a little bit darker. That should do it. I suppose I could use my finger and stir it. Assuming these rubber gloves work. Let's hope they do. We're gonna go a little bit.
That thing doesn't go through your finger.
Yeah, that'd look bad if I have a really brown finger, right? All right, so let's try again. We're gonna hit it hard. There we go. That's what you want. A little bit more stain on there. Now I don't know if you can see that, but that's kind of what you want it to do. So we're gonna hit it like that. That's a good level right there. And it looks kind of crazy because you're like, what did I just do to my antler? I turned it T-Mobile purple, you know, or T-Mobile pink. But no, that's a good amount right there, and then we'll get a good if we let that dry like that, that'll get a really nice brown on it. So yeah, you can see that the stuff I'm spilling is way darker than it was. So I think that's the right ratio right there. And then we'll hit this side too. And we're trying to avoid drips, and though this sponge is kind of saturated, you might be better off with an actual paintbrush that has bristles than this, just because I'm flinging this stuff everywhere because it's just coming out of the sponge as I.
It's probably because it's really wet.
Yeah, it is, and it's holding all that moisture. But this, I think that's looking really good.
Me too.
If JP approves, then we're in good shape. Like I say, it was kind of just a boring white antler spike, but when you add some of this stuff to it, it really starts to get, whoop, there, now I'm getting drips. I gotta be careful about that. But the cool thing about it, even when you do get drips, it follows the contours of the antler, and so the darkness settles, the darker spot settles into the grooves of the antler, and it kind of just looks really natural. So it's kind of a cool thing to see. All right.
It's getting a little brown.
Oh yeah, that's what we were just off a little bit. We were a little light on our solution, but now this is really starting to look right. So Yeah, we're giving it that nice, it gives it just a nice natural antler color.
Daddy might need a little more.
Yeah, I think it's looking great. I'm not gonna complain too much about this because I think it's really starting to pop, so. I'm gonna leave that spike pretty white at the tip. I'm not gonna go too far up. I think it looks kind of cool the way it is. I am gonna wipe up some of my drips here. Make sure we're not creating a problem. So. We're just going down it. We're gonna let it kind of just. I mean, we can use the other one as a gauge, but you can see where it's just kind of picking up that same color, and I think that looks cool. So let's see if you can see that. That's pretty awesome. So anywhere it looks faint, just give it another swipe or so, and then if you want it, you can go as dark as you want. So just keep at it until you're satisfied. A little more dab here on the top, and then we'll go down. There we go.
Oh.
There we go. That's looking good right there. There's a few spots that are a little bit light. All right. What do you think?
That looks pretty good.
Yeah. Just gotta make sure we don't have any drips. So could you give me another paper towel, please?
Yeah, this one doesn't rip.
Hey, good job. Good job. All right, we're gonna get this right at the base. Just make sure we're getting all this gnarly stuff right next to the base of the skull. Oh, here, don't touch that because you'll get orange on your hands. Okay. Yeah, it'll go through the paper towel. Thank you. All right, so now we're dripping down that way. All right, just gonna dry that off a little bit.
Is the other side brown yet?
Huh?
Is the other side brown yet?
The other side, let's see, hold on.
Because that looks pretty brown, that side.
Yeah, I mean, it's looking pretty good. So,
just some of it's a little
yep.
pinkish purple, but
Yeah, not much though.
a lot of it's pretty brown. Oh,
It's rolling on me.
make sure it doesn't roll on the ground.
Yeah. I'm just gonna go real light on here. See if we can get it just a little shade darker on this top part. I think it's looking good. I'm good. I'm good for now. Thank you. All right, so that is the process. So now you can see we started out with a very faded antler spike, and now we have kind of a purplish brown. But as that dries, it's just going to dry brown, and we're going to have a pretty cool looking antler. So that's all we got. We appreciate you stopping by. I'll try to throw a photo of the finished product at the end of this so you can see, but we always appreciate you coming by and hanging out with us. And if you can, hit that like button. If you'd like to, leave a comment below. And if you're new to the channel, we love subscribers. Until next time, we'll catch you later, right?
And please use this.
Yeah, this is the stuff. He can even show you. It's Loud Wolf. Potassium Permanganate. So that's the good stuff. Thanks again. All right, so I thought I'd throw in a picture, but I ended up just deciding to put in a video at the end. This is the finished product. You can see that it came out pretty dark on the bottom here, and then it kind of fades as it goes up. I did have to put another coat on there because it was looking kind of more copper than it was that dark rich brown. You can see here it's kind of a darker brown, and even on this side it's copper, but more copper, but it's okay. I like the way it turned out. I think it'll look good with the other one kind of stacked up in the corner there. So yeah, just putting another coat on is always a good idea if it's not to where you want it to be, but just be advised, you know, if you're dealing with a more faded antler like this was, I mean, this was pretty like bone white. Sometimes it can, it'd be a little bit lighter brown than that darker brown that you might want. So still, I'm happy with it. Think it turned out really good. Hope you like it. Hope this was kind of fun to watch. So take it easy.